I've been running the index for a while, and I very much enjoy it. It's pretty straightforward to get set up and going. If you are unsure you should be able to run your Valve adorned mailer box at the door, Valve does include some tools to see how VR ready you are. Official links are in the places. If you can't, there's always a quest for you. This first tool just checks for general hardware compatibility, and others perform a graphics load comparable to VR games. Links to all of these are in the description. Now the unboxing. I bought the complete kit. It comes with everything you need to get going. Inside of the box, first and foremost, is the headset. Looks really cool. Comes with a very long cable. It terminates with power, USB 3, and display ports. There's also a safety breakaway cable, and there's a connection on the inside. It has some very nice and soft foam on the end. The ear muffs go over your ear, and they adjust how you normally would think they go. The face gasket comes off with magnets. There's a lot of tech in the front. Let me just take care of the peel. You got a USB 3 slot on the front, as well as the cameras. On to the rest of the unboxing. There are two controllers. I've already done a dry run of them. They're charging a little bit. I'm bringing them over. There are also a pair of base stations that I had already put up. I'll show them later. There are two main ways to adjust the strap of the controllers. On the bottom there's a bit of elastic that gets controlled with a button to adjust. It kind of takes two hands to do that. When you don the controllers properly, your hand slips through the band and then naturally wraps around the controller when you want to grip something. The trigger has a GameCube style click at the end of the travel. It does charge with a USB Type-C cable, and you do get a pair of ADC cables in the package. Below the controllers at the 2.0 base stations, I already have them mounted separately. It's a separate camera mount. Inside of the box, there's another box. Inside, you get a setup guide, a guide to configuration, a guide to installation, a
Einrichtungsanleitung.
Thanks Germany, a guide to the installation, a setup guide, a tiny microfabric cloth, and a miniature book containing reasons why Valve may not honor their warranty. Let's set all this aside for floor 2 of the box, lifted out with convenient pull tabs. We have a nice thick foam pad for the back of the headset if you need it. It's pretty thick, it's firm, fits right in the back of the headset, useful for smaller heads. Yeah, it just slides right in. There's the power brick for the headset. You don't want to mix the headset brick and the base station bricks up. It's mostly a universal with a simple outlet head replacement. It's pretty simple. You get the Up next is the charging cables for each of the controllers. You get a pretty nice length with them. They're bound together in a paper envelope. You get 2 of them. Let's prop this up a bit better. You also get a pair of lanyards for the controller. That way you can Wiimote safely. Oh! I'll show that later. There is the other one. And that's the mounting hardware for the base stations. I have mine already mounted because I bought my own. You can use those also to just place it on a desk or other flat surface. But it comes with everything you need besides a screwdriver for wall mounting. Let me put those back. That is the power brick for the base stations. Each gets one. It's the same deal as the headset. It gives 12 volts to the base stations. That's the power cable for it. I don't know why it's out of frame, but it's a barrel jack cable. What else can I say about it? There's the other power brick for the second base station. Let's not throw the brick. And alongside is the other cable. That's it. It's pretty straightforward to unbox this thing. Bunch of paper. Assuming you already have Steam VR installed and a space set aside, if it's a temporary or shared space, make sure it's consistent between uses. It's a 3-ish step process. Number 1, base stations. You want them to go as high as possible and on opposite sides of the room. They get just power. The USB is for updates if you don't have Bluetooth. You can use the wall mounting hardware as a stand for testing things out if you need to. Cables, connect them all. You got the display port to the GPU, you got the 3.0 to anything that's not a hub. USB 2 can work. Power to the power brick. While you're at it, make sure that the base stations have power. If it's done properly, Windows will see it as a standard display. Don't panic, that's the next step. If you want to cable manage, do it now. You'll probably not want to do it later. Lastly, hold the system button on the controls until you hear a beep from each. It'll turn them on and it'll open up Steam VR. If everything is working properly, it'll go immediately to the room setup. It's pretty straightforward to do it. Follow the on-screen instructions. Here from the edit, months later, I wanted to show how dead simple setup is, but not having a single cut in the process. The first thing it'll ask is how much room you have. I have just enough space for a room scale, so I'll select that. Make sure that at a minimum the boundaries are clear to walk around. Let's watch the goofy animation while that happens. The next step is to make sure that the base stations can see the controllers and headset. Put them in about the center. Next, you just point to your computer with the controller and hold down the trigger. Then to locate the floor, with one controller, I tap the trigger and at once put it on the ground. seems to give me the best results. Remember about clearing the area. This is the most clear it is supposed to be. Go ahead and trace the boundaries. Look at the view while you're at it. If everything shows up, then it's working. I'm gonna go ahead and trace the bounds. It'll complete the area when you let go of the trigger, so there may be chances where you'll want to redo the boundaries. Oh yeah, especially if it nags at you for having a slightly pentagonal room. It likes confining everything to a square or a rectangle. It didn't like it, so let's redraw it. When you and it are happy on a boundary size, that's it. No need to move a rift sensor by a few inches, no faffing around with is it enough, because it all just works. When it's done, it'll just send you to the Steam VR home. Now there are some settings you will likely want to change, but this video has gone on for way too long. If enough people want a video explaining about Steam VR settings and best practices, I'll do it. But just long story short, set the FPS to 120 and you'll be fine, restart pending.